Hey guys, this is SuperFunnyBros with a new commentary. Today's victim is Gavin McInnes. He's a Canadian commentator who's basically a libertarian like Rob Kiddison, but doesn't seem to believe in the stupid conspiracy theories that some believe. But Gavin McInnes has his own flavor of being a complete dick to everyone that's not a white male xenophobe. He's also part of a YouTube channel called RebelMedia, which the people there pretty much consist of a bunch of pseudo-intellectuals. No, not those guys, they're awesome. Anyway, down the warp pipe we go.
Here are my 10 most insane beliefs, and they are also a wonderful way to save America from itself.
And just to point out, 3 of them that he lists here are stuff that I only partially agree with, and the other 7 are complete garbage and don't help America whatsoever.
All right, here's 10 easy steps to save America, and it sums up my beliefs, and I'm actually throwing you fucking assholes a bone because I'm showing you something you can't actually say is controversial and you don't agree with, okay? Here's something you can finally say that's insane. Abolish prison. 5% of the people in prison are fucking nutbars who could not survive in society and deserve to be in a cage. The other 1.9 million, we've got what, 2.2 in there? They are there for stupid domestic charges, which is a chick who regrets it. She got beat up. She got a restraining order. She changed her mind. They got back together. She called the cops again a year later. He's now violated his restraining order and he's treated the same as a stalker who crawled through the window. Meanwhile, his socks are in her top drawer. That's fucking 400,000 people in jail. The drug war, well, that's just everything now. That's assault, murder, all these other, I'm sure it's linked to domestic abuse too. Stop incentivizing drug use and you stop having drug arrests.
I agree that we are throwing people in jail for a long time for things that are arguably minuscule, like drug use. If we legalized marijuana nationwide and put an end to privatized prisons, the prison population would definitely go down. But getting rid of prison altogether is nonsensical, especially for the crazy explanation he's about to give here.
So, and then you go, well, wait a minute, Gavin, you're crazy. What about murders? I'm going to handle that in number 2, but murder is a very rare crime. For someone to get to the point where they lose their shit so much they murder, they almost never do it again.
That's bullshit. While it is true that there is more recidivism for non-violent offenses than violent offenses, there is still some for murder. And even if it's as low as you say it is, that shouldn't be used to justify abolishing prisons. What if somebody did kill someone? How are we going to punish them? Are we going to go retribution style and execute them via firing squad? I'd rather not have a country that takes the lives of anyone, even if they deserve it. Are we going to go back to ye old times and put criminals in stockades?
And by the way, on this show, we're going to be making things called generalizations. Now, I know this is hard for 50% of the country to digest, but you're allowed to notice patterns.
No, there's a difference between patterns and making blanket statements. You, sir, make a lot of blanket statements, such as...
Video games are for little kids. Why are adults playing video games? My brother-in-law got my kids a Batman game for Christmas. They can't play it. It's for adults only. Batman? And you're sitting there, I'm Batman, I'm Superman, I can fly. Look at my Wolverine shirt. He has claws. You read comic books? That is for people who are special.
Look, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. All terrorists are Muslims. All terrorists are Muslims.
All right? So when I say there's nobody who has 2 heads and eats iguanas for breakfast, when you find someone who does actually have like a weird twin growing out of their side and actually does get so hungry in Arizona that they may pop a little gecko in their mouth, that doesn't negate my fucking point, okay?
Yes, it does. If you make an absolute statement, all I have to do is find one exception to negate your point. That's why you never make them. It's like when Dr. Trey81 said that the Wii U will have the definitive version of all your favorite games. He could not be any farther from the truth.
Just because you found an exception to the rule doesn't mean the whole fucking pattern is noticed. Oh yeah? Race exists? Really? I know an albino African dude who is part Czechoslovakian and part Native American. Ergo, there's no such thing as black people. No, fuckface. It means you know a weird person.
Nice straw man, Gavin. We're not saying that black people don't exist. We're saying that black people is a social term. The reason that there are black people is because of the environment. Back when we were Homo sapiens, we were all essentially the same. And when some left to different environments while the rest stayed, they changed and adapted to their environment. So other than the color of their skin, black people are no different from whites, or Asians, or Native Americans. And I guarantee that after enough interracial breeding, future generations are going to mainly have the same skin color, and then society will have to make a new name for them because we just have to put people in neat little boxes.
Next, number 2, we're going to give everyone a gun. You know who didn't get looted during the riots in Ferguson, or any fucking riot this year? The guy with the machete, the guy that was armed. Remember that dude, Machete Batman? What was he called? The Batman of Baltimore. He didn't have a gun. He just had a machete, and no one went near him. Let's get him a gun. And we'll be talking about this with John Lott. He wrote an article recently on Fox's site about how rarely we discuss the armed people who stopped attackers. And one thing we can't even discuss because the numbers are so huge they're impossible to quantify, but the number of crimes that are deterred just by assuming she might have a gun in her purse.
So you're saying that by giving everyone a gun, nobody will shoot each other because they'll have a gun? I hate to break it to you, but some are going to shoot regardless if they have a gun. Retribution doesn't work, neither does deterrence. I don't want everyone to have a gun. I only want the right people to have guns. This question is for everyone that is pro-guns. What reason is there for an average citizen to have a gun other than for hunting? If your answer is self-defense, ever heard of tasers or maces? Shocking someone or spraying pepper into their eyes is just as effective, and it doesn't result in someone dying. Unless if a country is attempting to take over America or if The Walking Dead becomes a reality, you don't need a gun. The goal is to have less people killed from guns, not more. And numerous reports of accidental shootings show that we need better gun regulations.
You can't rape a 38. Number 3, legalize drugs. That takes care of our prison problem, takes care of our guns problem. Right now, I don't understand why everyone in New York is so anti-gun when they're living in a failed gun control experiment.
Oh, you're still talking about guns. Nice of you to steer off course within 5 seconds. This is a second point that I partially agree with them on. I don't support legalizing all drugs because stuff like heroin and cocaine are synthetic processed shit that do overwhelmingly more harm than good. Cannabis, however, is natural. You can grow it. When you're smoking marijuana, it's only a plant ground up, whereas cigarettes have nicotine and various chemicals. In short, go natural or go fuck yourself. As if he says he.
What's next? I think we're up to 5 now, right? End welfare is a doozy, and I also learned this from my boy John Lott. Back in the 50s, when we didn't give black people money to dump their boyfriends, which is what single mother welfare is, break up with him here, they had a crime rate that was about the same as whites. Now we know the black crime rate is unfathomable. It's so high that Eric Holder has said, I don't want to hear about this. Okay, we won't tell you? No. Don't even record it. The racial crime stats are now done because Eric Holder saw them and his hair went white. His skin, if his skin went white, he wouldn't have cared. So, since the 50s, however, we've incentivized welfare and we split up the family. That's a huge part of crime. That's a huge part of shit education. That's a huge part of all our problems.
The reason we have welfare in the first place is because of the ever-increasing income inequality in this country. It has come to a point where families that are relatively poor have little to no chance of getting higher in the income scale. So if you don't like the fact that the government is giving people free money just to be able to survive for a month, then you should be supporting higher wages and union protections for workers.
Next one. What are we up to now? 7? 5, close the borders. Anne's book sums that up real simple like. Adios, America. That's where we're headed with the borders. If you don't think that is an issue and you think that we're all a nation of immigrants and that most immigrants are sweethearts just coming here to clean your house, you're a fucking moron. Google it.
No, you're the fucking moron, Gavin. We are a nation of immigrants. The point of America is to be a multicultural nation. The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Very poetic. I understand that we have an immigration issue and that we should find ways to fix it, but banning birthright citizenship is not the right solution, and it's unconstitutional.
Next. Outlaw censorship.
I'm skipping this part only because the example he brings up has absolutely nothing to do with censorship. Getting blasted for saying stupid shit is not censorship. It's called being an idiot and being treated like one. And Gavin blames his resignation on a gay man on Twitter who demanded him to be fired even though Brand Eek chose to resign on his own volition. God, this is Chick-fil-A all over again.
Next. Venerate the housewife.
Okay, before I let him make his point, I need to point out something you should know about him if you haven't already. This guy's claim to fame is being a militant anti-feminist. His main argument is that feminism in general is a cancer to Western society, and he uses studies that say women in general are statistically not as happy as decades prior and blames feminism as the cause of it. And then argues that women would be happier as housewives and with children than a career woman with no intention of having children because it's more natural for women to be in those roles. I've been reading several articles about these studies and I found that it's more complex than what Gavin is trying to make it to be. So in short, he's a misogynist prick.
I don't know how many dried up ovaries I walk around next to every day. I barely know any chicks who have kids. All my friends from high school, their cunts are like rotten tea bags, baby free, and will remain that way. And they always say, good. I think kids are gross. They always say childbirth is gross too. And they can't wait to have their career. And I go, what's your career? And they go, scheduling marketing meetings with record labels. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't create a human life. Let's stop making the housewife a sellout job and stop glorifying these shitty careers women take. There's something you can be offended by.
Gavin, why do you give so much of a shit about how women live? Why are you so upset about the trivial fact that some women just don't want kids? It's not like the human population is going to dwindle to nothing in 5 years because every woman in the world somehow magically doesn't want kids. I understand that feminism has a dark side. I've seen it. But the principle of feminism is not a bad idea. Don't let the more extreme ones taint your view of it.
Next. Glorify the entrepreneur. We're coming to the end here, guys. I'm sorry to drop so much heaviness on you at the beginning of a brand new show. I promise this will be much cheerier, but I have to get this out of the way so you know where I'm coming from. Michelle Malkin has a great book out called Who Built That? And it's making fun of Obama's stupid quote where he goes, You have a business? You didn't build that. People took roads to get there. Why does he talk Southern, by the way, when he's from fucking Hawaii? Don't they talk like Canadians? They sound like hosers to me.
I need to say this. I hate it when people make fun of how other people speak as an argument against them. I never made fun of Blaze the movie fan's thick Icelandic accent in my commentary because it would make me a total douche. Also, you took Obama's quote out of context because otherwise you wouldn't be criticizing him for it. Here's the quote when it's actually put into context.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
What he was saying is that it doesn't take one man to make a business. It takes a bunch of people. Bill Gates didn't make the corporate giant that is Microsoft on his own. Neither did Steve Jobs with Apple or Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. And if it wasn't for other circumstances, they wouldn't be as successful.
We need to glorify entrepreneurs and vilify them less. Like Donald Trump made a ton of money. That's cool. When the oil companies have record profits, you don't go, ew, gross, record profits? I want them to make record losses.
Another straw man. We vilify certain businesses because they have been influencing politics with money in order for them to make laws that benefit them at the expense of everything else to maximize their profits. It's essentially legalized bribery. Also, Donald Trump had several bankruptcies, costing hundreds of jobs and cost lenders over $1 billion. So he's both a shitty politician and a shitty businessman. All he's good at is being an image and a brand. If it wasn't for that bad toupee of his, he would be a homeless man pushing a shopping cart bitching about Mexicans.
Next. Recognize the West is the best. I want more. This is, I will admit, pretty offensive. I'm a Western chauvinist.
Oh, so in other words, you're a white supremacist. At least you're honest. I don't need to explain how incredibly stupid and egotistical this point is, so I'm just going to let the monkey talk.
I've lived all over the world. I know a lot about other cultures, and I know how much they suck shit. Okay? Multiculturalism reeks. And we see this every day with every attack. These jihadists go, well, I'm told America sucks, so what else you got? Oh, we have this culture Islam that's super proud of itself and wants to blow everything up. I'm in. And we choose that. If we could be more chauvinistic and more proud and not be sent home on Cinco de Mayo from our own high schools for wearing an American flag shirt, you would see a ripple effect from that patriotism of a lot more great American things. We don't suck. We didn't start slavery. We ended it.
Yeah, but America also wanted slavery to stay.
Let's be a little more smug. Last, shut down the government. All I can think of when people say that is roads. And I don't know where we got this idea that roads are free. When I go upstate, I end up spending about $40 fucking on my Easy Pass. They seem pretty privatized to me. So say we have a few more potholes, which I don't think will happen. We don't need them for anything. And let's stop imbuing all this faith into basically the DMV. You know when you go to the DMV and everyone there is borderline retarded and they can't even pronounce Gavin McInnes? You know those morons? That's the whole White House. All politicians are just ugly actors. It's Hollywood for ugly people, but even more ruthless and shallow. So let's stop coming up with these ideas where we go, let's get more regulation, like even Occupy Wall Street. Fuck the rich. We want to fucking close down Wall Street. We need more government regulation. They're screaming anti-cop stuff and waving communist flags.
You are so full of shit, they should call you a porn star's mouth. You have absolutely no clue what Occupy Wall Street stands for, and why there even is a protest like this in the first place. Homeowners got screwed from Wall Street because Wall Street is essentially responsible for the housing market collapse, which became a catalyst for the Great Recession that we're now trying to climb out of. And at this rate, another market collapse could happen because Wall Street has been deregulated up the wazoo and have zero accountability for what they do. As for protesters spouting anti-cop comments, that has been proven to have been fabricated by Fox News, a quote-unquote news channel that you are affiliated with and a regular guest. And that's the end of the video. We don't need the government, huh? We don't need regulations, huh? You think people are just going to instinctively act with good intentions when there's nothing to hold them back from doing anything they want? Without rules, there's no order. And without order, there is chaos. It's funny how you say that America is the best, yet you spout these ideas that are incredibly anti-America. You are the most un-American person I have ever had in my commentaries. If you don't like the fact that the USA is a multicultural secular nation, then leave. We'll be better off without you. And that's it for this commentary, and I hope you all enjoyed it. This is SuperFunnyBros saying, let's become a great nation again.